Should we really be following our passions? Or is that just spiel that the people that make it just tell us just to keep us engaged in their content? That's the topic of discussion today. You're joined with myself, Ams Chowdhury, and Abdul Rayed. We're both junior doctors and the co-founders of Peerr. And I'm going to start off by posing the question to Abdul. Abdul, should people be following their passions?
Before we go into that, this is incredible. Like, I don't know if you can see the camera.
Just to make it clear, we're not sponsored by Pringles. We have no affiliation.
I was feeling hungry, and we're obviously recording in Ams's room, and I was feeling peckish, but these are very good. And like, I don't know if I was hungry, but highly recommend it. Shout out Pringles. But going back to kind of passion, and I get exactly what you mean. Is it a gimmick? Is it a marketing thing? People that have made it use it to bring in the masses. And what's the difference between passion and side hustles, passion and purpose and whatever, right? It's a buzzword. It's always thrown around. We throw it around all the time ourselves.
Yep, exactly.
My thoughts on passion are, people can think we recommend everyone to do everything under the sun. I think everyone should follow their passions or have a passion they pursue. But this time round, when you think about passion, what is passion? Okay, how would you describe passion? And then I'll kind of tell you my thoughts on the matter.
I think a passion is something you're personally interested in, right? Something that you like, something that you enjoy doing, something that you might constantly do to get better at. So you can be passionate in football, you can be passionate in sports, you can be passionate in food. You might be passionate in those Pringles crisps. Yeah, you can be passionate about certain things. Passionate in content creation. You can be a passionate entrepreneur about your mission. So passion is something that you like for yourself, rather than it be just being purely your purpose. Usually your purpose is a mission for others. Your passion is for yourself.
Yeah. So coming back to the question you asked me, so the way I see it is passion is doing stuff that you enjoy, something that truly makes you happy. Whereas purpose is something that drives you. It dictates the actions you do and take, right? Coming back to passion, I think a lot of people, they chase happiness, contentment, fulfillment, and they look at things like work, relationships, and they're banking on that to give them that that feeling of happiness and contentment. Whereas a lot of them neglect passions. And I think a lot of happiness can come from passion when you detach the money side of things from it, the status, the role, certain titles like founder, co-founder, host gives you that buzz, right? But it doesn't hit that contentment feeling. I think when you pursue passions because you genuinely enjoy it, it makes you happy. It's something that helps you de-stress. You don't need any motivation to do it. You just go out your own way to do it. And passion can be something as simple as walking. Walking in the park is a passion for some people. Some people just enjoy walking.
Okay, so for our audience who've been watching all of our episodes, we obviously know you're a man about entrepreneurship. You're a man of education and passive income. Tell us a passion that we don't know yet. What are you passionate about?
If you stick to something that makes you happy, or that I do that I don't need any motivation for, the 2 or 3 things that I do, and I'll always do it, I think I like walking around parks and whatever, like late night, just so I can relax, gather my thoughts. And I live near Primrose Hill, which is a really nice park. I like scribbling and doodling. Obviously, you know that.
I've seen it. Like a madman, he'll just scribble all over the walls and laptops.
It's a proper passion, man. I like drawing, I like art, I like messing around with that type of stuff. But it's not something I put out there. No one knows about that side of me unless you see me or see my notes. Okay. And the third thing, a passion of mine, is reading. I love reading. Yeah. That's what I said to us. I really love reading. I enjoy reading. I've been reading for a very long time, and I have no ulterior motive from it. I don't read to make money. I don't read for other stuff. I read because I enjoy reading. The act of reading is an enjoyable experience for me.
Yeah. Wicked.
How about you? Let me flip it to you. What would you say are your passions? Yeah, passions. Okay, same as you. What are the passions that people don't know you about? And you can't say academia, content creation, videography and stuff like that. There's one I know straight off the top of my head. But what are the 2 or 3 things?
Wait, which passion do you know? I want to hear that.
So I think you have a passion for working out, exercise and fitness. And you don't necessarily put it out on your bio. You're not like a fitness or health and lifestyle. You don't put that. You put, if the content you put out is about education, entrepreneurship, you don't put out. How much content do you put out about health and fitness? You snap the odd, I'm in the gym, but people won't see that and equate it to the amount of passion you have for it.
You
see what I mean?
So I see exactly what you mean. I'd agree. So I think I am now an avid. I do have a passion in health and fitness, in looking after myself. I've been to Turkey recently, so I put a bit of weight on. I'm not happy with, but yeah. So health and fitness for sure, and working on myself as well. But I think one passion I guess people don't know about is self-development. Right now, I don't read books and books like you, right? But what I do is I try to consume a lot of podcasts. I've got a subscription to Blinkist. This is not a sponsored episode, where I try to consume loads of things, anything that will make me better in the various dimensions, whether that's time management as a father, as a parent, in the relationship, why you should travel, anything that helps me grow as a person. I like consuming that type of content. I'm really passionate about that. And you'll find that off air, on air, when I'm discussing with other people. I talk about happiness and contentment a lot, about finding contentment and happiness with what we have. And I'm passionate about that.
So I agree with that. And I can see why you're passionate about those things. But this is a bit more of a more interesting thing is, can you still be passionate about things within your career, within your line of work? Can you be a doctor and be passionate about cardiology and cardiothoracic? Does that still equate to the same thing?
Absolutely, because if you think about it, it's to flip the question, can you be a passionate entrepreneur? If the answer to that is yes, then you can be a passionate doctor, engineer, data scientist, accountant, lawyer, etc. Passion is about, I guess, the elements that you think about in whatever you're passionate about is A, you're first interested in it. It grabs your attention and keeps you engaged. I think the next thing is that you enjoy whatever you're doing, the feedback that you get from doing it, right? So you talked about reading. Reading gives you an instant feedback. You enjoy the process of what you're consuming. Similarly, going for a walk, for me, is also consuming that knowledge. And when it's in the gym, it's the dopamine hits and everything that you get from it. I enjoy that as well. And you enjoy the goals that come with that. Passion projects and things like that, they come with goals and sort of moments of milestones. So you can absolutely enjoy it. But I guess the question that we want to ask, we want to talk about today, right, is, in your early days when you're a student, you don't know what you want. All right, medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, you're usually headed in one direction. You're going to end up as a doctor, maybe not what specialty, but you're ending up in a direction. The question is, though, say you're passionate about food as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, okay? Or maybe you're a first year, let's say, economics student, and you're passionate about food. Do I lean into food? Do I lean into that passion more than anything else at that age, at that stage? Because everyone says, follow my passion. Or do I also think about, all right, I'm studying economics, I do want to do a job as an accountant. What do I do?
So this is where it comes down to what is passion, what does it actually mean. I think passion is doing something, or something that's not attached to anything, money, fame, follower counts or metrics or whatever. It's something that gives you pure joy and happiness. You don't need someone forcing you or pressuring you to do it, right? I think if you are an eco student or studying economics at LSE or whatever big university you are, but you do have a passion for food, lean into it. Because if you do not lean into the passions, the things that make you happy, how can you be happy? You're going to be chasing happiness and contentment and fulfilling in other things. It's like pushing away something that gives you happiness.
So you're saying if your passion basically isn't in line with your academics or your career, run it parallel. Run it parallel and lean into it, or are you saying move into it?
So it depends in what sense you're talking about passion. Is it something like you do on the side? Is it something you do as a hobby, something to help you relax, de-stress? Then I say, fair enough, lean into it like that. If you say give up your economics degree, lean into food, food review because it's your passion, then fair enough. But my thing is, and I think for this video, this discussion is, I want to talk about passions as additional things you do in addition to your career, in addition to your day-to-day life, to make you more happy and content and fulfilled.
But that's for happiness and contentment. What about for career? Because often the advice that you get from these gurus, right, it's for your career. It's for moving into it full time.
That's different, right? So the example I give is someone that's happy in their career, or they don't hate their job. They don't hate their lives, and they're not miserable in the 9 to 5. They're content with it, and having a passion on the side is just helpful. It helps them be more productive at work. It makes them happier, right? But that's assuming they're already happy at their work. They may not be the most happiest person in the world, but I think you can get additional happiness from passion, right? If you say to me, okay, you're someone that's studying economics, or you graduated and you're working in a bank or in a law firm and you hate it, you hate working there and you're looking for a way to exit, then leaning into your passion is worth it. I would recommend that, because passions can lead to income, and passions, and we've seen it with so many people, passions can become a job for you, or they become a replacement for a job.
Moving back a step though, you talked about people in the job. Let's talk about people before they've even entered the job. So I'll give you an example. So this is the scenario, and this is a real case actually. So someone comes up to you and they're a student, okay? And what's happened is they've been going after their passions, which happens to be in like the creative industry, but they haven't really launched their YouTube channel or something like that. They've worked for others, and then they've realized that, hold on a minute, I'm graduating at the end of this year. I've got these certain milestones that require this much money, and you know what? I don't have an attractive CV portfolio for the job. That job I might not be passionate about. It's a job that will pay me a good salary, a high salary to pay those bills. My passion won't do that right now, right? So what I'm trying to say is, should the student during their years of university, say their passion's in music, but their career trajectory is towards, let's say, becoming an accountant, should they invest in doing things for the accountancy CV, or should they be diverting their times towards their passion?
Right.
Do you see the dilemma they have here?
I get that. Let me get a bit more information from you, in the sense that, is accounting a job and a career they want long term?
So I'm gonna flip it back at you, right? This is a case of safety netting, man, because I resonate with this, because from my background, I'll tell you why. So if you told me at the beginning of med school to start doing podcasting, YouTubing, and startup and stuff like that, I probably would say no. And I would still tell my old self to say no. I tell you why, because the safety net of medicine is such a privilege. Let's be honest, me and you are so privileged, where everything can go bombs up, and we will still be able to have a job. We will probably be able to pay our bills, so we won't be out in the streets. Usually there is a job somewhere in the country. It might not be in London, it might not be in neighbouring cities, it might be in Scotland or somewhere, but there'll be a job, all right, for us. But not everyone has that luxury. So sometimes you have to invest in that. So what I'm trying to say is, those people, right, should they be investing into their safety net first, into their career that will give them a good salary, a good job, so they can live and breathe, and then move into their passion that they want to do full time, that they actually want to do as a job for life? What would you say to that person? Or are you saying, nope, you know what, gung-ho, do your degree, obviously, if you agree, do your degree, get your education, get your qualification, but lean in and develop that portfolio for if you want to be a chef, a Michelin star chef on the side?
I'm an avid believer, right, in what you mentioned before. A lot of things can be done in parallel, and not everything needs to be done in the sense like getting first rank, right? So the way I would play it, from what I've seen from personal experiences now, and I might not have done it while being a medical student, is do what you need to do to be a decent accountant or a decent economic student, right? Don't kind of go crazy trying to get first center or whatever it is, but do not push your passions away or push it to the side. Don't go ham on your passions, meaning don't dedicate every spare hour you have into your passions. Spend the odd hour or two here looking into developing your brand, developing your portfolio, developing your passions, learning more about your passions, and slowly increase that, right? I think the question you are saying is more like, do you go into one, sort that out, make sure you're sorted out in life in one thing, and then work on passions? That's not guaranteed. You can forever be chasing that security, etc., so on and so forth. We could have easily said, do you know what? We're going to start doing Peerr and podcast once we become a GP. There's no bigger safety net than when you're a GP, right? Because you're at the end of your medical training. I think you should do things in tandem. We underestimate what we can achieve. There is, it's like we have kids now, and it's like, are you giving up spending time with your family and your child for the startup and this and work? No, you can do a lot of things in parallel. As a student, do what you need to do, even if it is the bare minimum to get through university, to get the degree, to get the job. I would say it's better to have a lesser paying job and more time and being able to work on your passions throughout medical school and build on that, compound on that knowledge and experience, than it is to have a high paying job and then play catch up later on. Do you see what I mean? Do things in parallel. I think the question always seems to be, you either become a doctor, you become a consultant, you finalize your career, and then you do your passion projects. Where the question should be, why can't you do both at the same time? You don't need to do a lot more on the passion side, do more on your medical side, and then come to a balance. And at one point you realize, okay, I can spend more time on my passions and less time at work.
So that's what I feel like I'm leaning towards as an answer, right? So I personally think, right? So I think Ali Abdaal also mentioned this in a video. He talks about how start it part-time and then move into it full-time if it works for you. But everything can be done part-time at first, right? So what he means is essentially what you're saying, which is running it parallel. I am a believer, though, your background is very important for this. The reason, again, so coming from where we come from, the social class and everything, I would personally say make sure that safety net is there for you, because you don't know with the passion economy, with the passion projects, you don't know what business goes up and in blazes, right? Whilst there's certain jobs that will that offer very, very strong stability. So for me, I say, sort of do it in tandem, right? Don't just put all your eggs into the basket of your passion, but similarly, don't put all your eggs into the basket of your career, right? But look to form a safety net alongside it. And I know a lot of people, you know a lot of people as well, that did one thing which was very lucrative, gave them branding, gave them stability, security, lots of good finances, and they ran something in parallel and then jumped ship when the time was right. Ali Abdaal did that. He was a doctor and a YouTuber. Now he's a YouTuber.
Afzal saying Goldman Sachs banker turned entrepreneur. So that then brings on to the interesting point, and I'll come back to your point in a bit, is passion unlocks so many other things, right? It unlocks new opportunities. It can unlock a new career. It can unlock new income streams or more wealth. Some people earn more from their passion turned career, turned job, startup, more than they earn as a year in their standard salary.
Absolutely.
So pursuing passions is something that shouldn't be neglected. It should always be something that we actively try to do. And remember, it doesn't always necessarily need to do with money. It doesn't necessarily need to do things. It's, in essence, we're trying to say, do what makes you happy.
Exactly. But with passions as well, right, there's two things that's very important to understand as well. I think Professor Asif says it, and so he talked about finding your passion, right? So your passion sometimes isn't revealed to you at first, right? Right? Did you always know you were an entrepreneur? Did you always know you were an avid reader? Did you always, things like that doesn't always come to someone, right? Sometimes you're passionate in what you've been exposed to. So to find your passion, first of all, expose yourself to different things and see if it fits you, right? But then there's the element of making your passion work for you as well. That's another part.
What are your thoughts on that?
Making your passion work for you.
When you turn your passion, my thing with passion is, I don't care if it's got any money attached to it. I don't care about the status, the role, the privileges, the network, whatever, right? It's a passion. It's something I enjoy to do. I don't need any external motivation to do it, right? What do you think about people that turn their passion into work or turn their passion into an income generating job? So, you know that thing, it doesn't feel like you're working because it's your passion, you're doing it. So do you think that's a myth? when does that become something else?
So, you know that phrase. Overall, it's a little bit of a lie. The whole when it's your passion, it feels like you're never working. Like we're passionate about Peerr. There's, like I've said before, there's certain tasks that are it's dead. It's dead. You just feel like a zombie doing it. It's so boring, but it needs to get done. So I think that's Peerr. We're very passionate about it, but some tasks are not. So I don't think that's a completely true statement. But making a passion work for you, I think it does change the dimension a little bit, in the sense that because now you look to it to also pay your bills. So it's not just pure contentment, happiness, enjoyment. You just doing that as and when you like. You now have to deliver something because you're exchanging it.
So maybe what it is then, maybe the conversation is, do things, pursue your passion without the intention for it to be nothing but a passion. Do music and photography because you solely enjoy it. Don't do it for money. And if the opportunity arises for it to become money generating, where you can quit work and do something you enjoy, maybe that's a better way to approach it. Whereas if you approach it, I have a passion for cooking, I'm going to get an Instagram page up where I do food reviews, get invited to restaurants and get sponsored and brand deals. Maybe that's a different way of pursuing passion, and maybe that's where people go wrong. Do you see what I mean?
It depends on what one of them you're intentionally setting out to get a job and career built. The other one you're just sort of dipping your toes in it and a little bit deeper, and if you like it, you're just gonna dive straight into it. I agree with that. I agree. I would say that's good advice. I would say passions, explore, do it without any any agenda, not looking for like to reap lots of, I don't know, fame, money or whatever. Do it for yourself because you love it, and if the opportunity is there, take it.
And don't maybe this is the wrong answer, but my opinion is, don't do that passion in the sense that what you are hoping one day it replaces your full-time job. I think if the opportunity arises and you can see it work, do it, but don't set out to pursue a passion with the insight or with the expectations that it will do X, Y, and Z for you. Do it for pure happiness and joy, unattached to anything else.
But say for yourself, right? Say reading is a massive passion for you, right? Say you read loads of books, and then you on Instagram you post summaries, right? And now the opportunity to go into it because some publisher or an app or a startup has said, hey, if you do summaries for us, we'll pay you, right? Do you take it straight away?
So that thing, and I've spoken to a few people, right? Personally, I won't.
Why?
Because I tried that on Instagram anyway, trying to do book summaries, and it felt a bit tedious. I didn't really enjoy it, right? And I know when you're doing something and you're getting paid for it, and then results and milestones or whatever it is attached to your passion, you no longer start to enjoy that passion. And I say that because I had a flatmate who used to love baking and cooking, right? She used to love making cakes, and she makes awesome cakes, right? And it was a massive passion for her. And then an opportunity arose where people will pay her to make cupcakes and cakes, right? And she thought, cool, this is sick, let me do it, right? She wasn't intending for it to replace anything in her life. No, it's a side thing that makes a bit of money, right? And then she very soon realized that now that she was attaching her passion to money, to expectations, people were expecting something, she started to lose the fun enjoyment she had from it. She was getting stressed. She had to meet deliveries and deadlines and quality. And then she made a decision, despite however much money I make from this, I'm going to stop it because I want my passion to remain as a passion purely for joy and happiness.
So I guess when you involve a transaction, though, your passion becomes for someone else, not for you. Because her case, that cake, it was for someone else now.
She didn't enjoy the baking element of baking a cake, even though she was getting paid for it.
She's doing it for someone else's taste buds, someone else's aesthetics and visuals and all sorts. So so that's what I think, that's the negative of turning your passion into like a stream of income, like a service, is that you are using your passion for someone else now, and you have to be, are you happy to do it as a transaction now? Remember, what you give out is for a transaction of usually monetary return.
But it makes sense though. So if you flip it, passion allows you to do so many wonderful things. Like we said, it can turn into a career. You can generate money from it. You can get a bunch of skill acquisitions or whatever to work in other things. You can leave careers. You can meet so many people, network. I think through passions, people discover their purpose. They realize, oh, do you know what? I feel destined to do this. I feel I was placed on earth to do X, Y, and Z. My purpose in life is to do X, Y, Z, right? To educate the mass, or to help people earn a passive income, or to become the best photographer, or share knowledge between individuals, right? I think passion sometimes is a buzzword. I do see people using it as a marketing gimmick. And I can see that the theory of, why is it always the rich and successful people saying, follow your passions, do your passions, you'll be happy, right? And the people that need to work, the people that are hustling, people at university that are struggling to follow their passions. But yeah, I think passion is one of those things we need to find out what our passions are. And like you said, the best way to discover it is exposure. Put yourself out there. Say yes to as many opportunities, because you will very easily realize the things you don't like. Even if you never discover the thing that really hits and ticks for you, you realize, oh, do you know what? I don't like photography. I don't like videography. I don't like editing. I don't like social media. I don't like X, Y, and Z. And that in itself is information that you can use and move forward. But I think passion is one of those ones. But my stance on it is, do it for the happiness, the joy. Don't attach expectations on it. But should the opportunities arise for income, for networking, X, Y, and Z, do it if you feel you will still have the same love you have for the passion. Do you see what I mean?
I see what you're saying. I think I agree with that. I would say run the passion parallel. The passion in parallel. I think I stick by my thing of saying, make sure you are still working on that safety net, because we don't know what will happen, like the COVID pandemic, which ruined a lot of people's careers, and a lot of parts of the passion economy was affected as well. But yeah, I think that's where we stand. So should you lean into your passions? Do we agree? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely harness it. Grow in your passion. Make sure you do it. Should you always trade your passion as a transactional business for money or anything like that? I think we both say
be careful. Initially, no. Initially, no. When you are discovering your passions, when you're learning about yourself as an individual, when you're self-developing and growing, do not transact or put your passion in some sort of monetary value or something like that. You can jeopardize it.
I agree. So learn the trade, grow in the trade, enjoy it. Later on, I think we would say make it into a transaction if you can, if you want to actually. And I think we agree, passion can be your job. You can be passionate in your job.
100%. We've seen so many people do it.
Exactly. You can be passionate in your job. So yeah, I think that's an important point. Harness your passion, grow in your passion, learn in your passion, develop in your passion, all of those good things. I think we're two people that have not made it, and we're saying it. So I think it's true, isn't it? People should be leaning into their passion.
100%.
Any other closing remarks? All right then. Thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you next week.